There are a number of changes that I want to highlight that I think are really significant pressures. The pressure of cost, of compliance and new regulation. You know, I don't know if you can understand the complexity of this, but any bank can cut their budget. But one thing they'll always have to spend on, no matter what the cost, is compliance and regulation, right? And it is continually being daunting and demanding, right? The disruptive impact of technology, which enables fintechs, you know, more agile, focused new entrants to innovate more freely without constraints. They don't have legacy processes or systems, and they don't think about security and integration and all the complexities that the bank has to manage in order to adhere to those regulators and in order to serve the clients as they expect them to. And so it's very easy for them to come in and disintermediate clients with micro-type services. The changing demands of the new consumers, right? The new generation, many of you here, you know, you want it fast, right? You want an Uber-like service, right? You don't want to, you know, have to go and go through some arduous process in a banking relationship. In fact, you know, when we polled a lot of the millennials, they were trying to understand what is the value in a relationship with a bank. I can get a lot of these things done. If you're in New York City, you want a mortgage, you know, sign up with Rocket Mortgage. You want to buy a house, you know, you go online and draw a circle around the neighborhood you want to be in, and you're going to find the apartment you want to live in. It's very, very different. And of course, there's the growing impact, and everybody is worried about this, of cybersecurity and fraud. Fraud. Tremendous amount of fraud. I mean, this is in the billions of dollars costing, you know, us as taxpayers and us as customers and shareholders of the financial services companies. Now, the Canadian banks also, as others, have to deal with legacy technology and constant drive to improve their efficiency, their operating efficiency. And that's a key measurement, you know, and if you can't grow revenues, so if interest rates aren't growing fast enough, then you got to continually drive costs. You need to figure out how to make the way you do business, do it at a lower price. And the back office operations, whether through acquisitions or through growth historically, are limiting, you know, and they're limiting in their ability to implement new technologies. And this is, you know, what they're dealing with. At the same time, the banks are dealing with a deluge of data. And, you know, this data might help them address these challenges. However, given the constraints of the traditional algorithm-based analytics and the antiquated data structures from multiple lines of business, banks have traditionally been unable to exploit that data, right? I refer to Citibank has over 50 years of credit card data that they can't exploit. They continually try to figure out how to create value and monetize that data. There are hundreds of billions of transactions every year in the world, and despite the explosive growth in information, can you believe that less than 1% of the world's data is being analyzed today? I mean, you hear about this, AI, cognitive, analyze big data, 1% is being analyzed. All of this paints a pretty daunting picture and reality for banking and financial services, but I am really optimistic. Like, in fact, I say to my team, I wish I was 25 again, because I can't believe the excitement that we're facing before us, because we can seize the power of technology to really differentiate ourselves. And I think in Canada we can do that because of the strength of our banks and the collaboration and the educated students coming out of our academic institutions. Many people describe this opportunity as being digital, but you know, that's not sufficient. I mean, you hear people say, I'm a digital bank, I'm a digital, I love hearing that. I think, well, if you're not digital, what are you? Like, you know, analog? So think about it. Once every bank, you know, figures out how to be truly digital, highly automated processes and expanded channels, engaging their customers with mobile first, you know, who wins? Who differentiates themselves from the other? How do you do that? And the fact is that digital is not a destination, you know. It's a foundation for something much more profound. We stand at the dawn of a new era in which digital business meets a new form of digital intelligence. This is what we call cognitive business. And its most well-known avatar is IBM's cognitive system called Watson. okay? My dog's name is Watson too, so he's pretty impressive. Cognitive is the most disruptive trend, and it will be for decades, okay? This is like 1994 when the internet came out. Think about it. It will be for decades. Cognitive will be for decades. If you're only analyzing 1% of the data today, can you imagine the opportunity around cognitive in the future? And it's both about technology, but I really want you to understand, more importantly, it's not just about technology choices, but it's about business models and business choices, okay? The technology didn't differentiate Uber. The business model did. The technology enabled it. It was a foundation. But you have to think, how do I leverage cognitive to change the business? And that's why the right brain is going to be so critical in the future. That's what you're going to be using to figure that out. Cognitive is the most disruptive trend, okay? And there are three reasons why I'm so optimistic about this era. The digital foundation you're building is about to become even more powerful. The future of competitive advantage will be cognitive. And the financial services industry will lead the world in the cognitive era. That's where it'll happen first and most effectively. I believe that blockchain will do for trusted transactions what the internet did for information. But only if some key principles are in place, and this is critical. Okay, just as with the internet, we must have governance, and we have to have transparency on standards, and we have to have an underlying fabric that everybody agrees to. The blocks, that is the transactions, must be immutable. Okay, they can never be deleted or changed, and they must allow for provenance. You know, and some have disagreed with that, but the fact is immutability is the core to blockchain. It's the only way you can deepen the trust. And then only permission parties can transact on blockchain. And this is why at IBM we're focused on a number of things. We're working to ensure blockchain technology is open, secure, and scalable. We endorse the approach that the Linux Foundation is taking with Hyperledger Fabric, of which we are the founder and the leading contributor. The project started with our commitment to build 44,000 lines of code. We initiated 17 other founding members, and that continues to grow. And if you're familiar with technology, just like TCP/IP and HTML, those emerged from the efforts of an international consortia. And we expect the underlying fabrics of blockchain will emerge from Hyperledger. Secondly, we're building a complete blockchain platform. It includes DevOps, identity, consensus, smart contract services built on a Hyperledger fabric. We've engineered this to run on multiple platforms, and we've optimized it for scale, security, and resiliency on both the mainframe, okay, and the cloud. We're offering lastly, we're offering solution building blocks plus expertise to accelerate adoption. You heard of that. We're working with Scotiabank, and we're working with many other financial institutions with this. 4 of our large enterprise clients, we are helping them discover how to connect enterprise applications to blockchain. We've stood up 6 blockchain garages around the world, London, New York, etc., bringing deep technical skill, but also industry skill to help them build blockchains internally and externally. And right here in Toronto, we're working and partnered with the DMZ of Ryerson, where we bring together startups and large enterprises to deliver innovation with our clients using a design thinking framework for blockchain. Competitive advantage of the future, as in the past, will go to those who are best able to extract insight from key natural resources of their age. We understand that, whether it be oil, fiber optic cable, which is what Netflix capitalized on, right? In our time, that resource is data. And we all know about big data, but this is not just about big data volume. It's more importantly about the variety of the data and the velocity of the data, right? It's just not the data from your business. It's matching that data to all types of data. And I'm going to give you some examples. And the velocity, how quickly you're getting that data and being able to analyze it. More than 80% of the world's data is unstructured. That means systems today cannot read that data. Video, audio. By the way, you're probably all creating it right now. Somebody's filming. That's unstructured data that can be analyzed. They can decide whether I like a blue suit or a black suit. Video, audio, sensor outputs, everything we encode in language, from tweets to instruction manuals to the log files of your computers. The unstructured data is where the deepest insight lies. The problem is that it's dark today to all the traditional computer systems. They can capture, move, and store it, but they can't analyze it. They don't understand what it says, what it means. But fortunately, we've created something that can. And the technologies usually referred to as artificial intelligence have made exponential advances in recent years. In fact, the category is a lot broader than AR. It includes deep learning, neural nets, natural language processing, human-computer interaction. I just want to share with you the last point, which is financial services will lead the world in cognitive error. And I want to share some examples. Bradesco. Anybody familiar with Bradesco in Brazil? I want you to understand the power of cognitive in language. Language, understanding natural language and being able to communicate. They have Watson in their call centers now, answering calls from clients and responding to those calls in Portuguese. 59 core products. Watson can speak naturally over 300,000 words in Portuguese. And to be considered fluent, you only have to have half those words. Alpha Modus Research uses Watson to find predictive patterns in the market behavior. Just imagine this. They predicted the price direction of U.S. equities in the close of the trading well enough to improve forecasting by 500%. Royal Bank of Scotland piloted a Watson digital advisor to help with frequently asked questions and even created a warm-like human personality. And we're teaching Watson how to have a personality and how to understand emotions and reactions. That means when you get on the phone and they got some call center automated system, you know, frustrating you, and then you start yelling and screaming, and then they say, you know, we're recording this, and you say, good, I want you to hear this. Well, you're literally going to have Watson that's going to be able to hear and understand your frustration and respond differently, right, and understand you're frustrated. Canadian banks are doing some great things around wealth management division of the banks. Domain experts and academia and data science are training Watson, demonstrating the ability of automatically and accurately scanning thousands of research documents and regulatory findings to improve efficiency and effectiveness of finding, you know, important facts and reducing the risk of regulatory issues. We've also created a cognitive virtual assistant for advisors in banks and small business banking division, really giving that advisor insights and knowledge about the client they're going to see, and then giving them advice while they're going to see them, making them very capable. And as it was mentioned, I talked to the CAO and a lot of executives at Citi. They're looking at robotics. They want to put Watson into robots and have them at the teller station. If you've ever stood in line like I have at a bank, and somebody's at the front asking simple questions like, you know, how do I deposit a check? Or, you know, I'm going to the US on vacation. How do I get foreign exchange, etc.? These robots will be used, okay, and they're there today. This capability is there today to answer those simple questions so that the tellers can spend more time, valued time, upsell, cross-sell, delivering real value and insight. I'm very excited about the possibilities of what Canadian banking, Canadian financial services can do, being competitive, differentiating for many reasons, not just because of the technology that we have. We talked earlier, the relationships, okay, the leadership, the youth that we have that will continue to push innovation and technology at a pace that keeps our major financial institutions, which is a differentiation for Canada, which I'm passionate about, okay, keep them in a position where they don't get disintermediated by those players that come in and try to take advantage of micro capability, and we want to do all we can to make sure they're successful. Thank you.